history. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna name this video, but by the time you see it, it should have a title. So we're gonna go through my living situations and housing options and a little bit about, you know, how I live place to place and what I thought about each situation, pros and the cons. So let's start at hopefully all of our first rendition of when we have a place to stay. Hopefully if you're stable and staying with, you know, a parent or guardian, you're staying either in a house, apartment, or trailer. Growing up, I lived in a home. Generally, we never lived in an apartment. My mom did, she was in the military, so we did live on base. So we lived in houses on base, and when she got out of the military, we lived in a house and she bought a home. So my first introduction to the housing world was living in a home. It was either 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, and me and my sister shared a room when we were young. After that, we had our own rooms and bathrooms, and life was pretty good. So let's go with the pros and cons. Number one, the pro: you don't pay any bills. So when I lived with my mama, it was great. Like I didn't pay rent, gas, electric, none of that. Like I would just go into school and saving my money for me and buying little BS stuff that I wanted to, and you know, spending money on fun stuff, the stuff you really like to spend money on, going to school, driving, track practice. It was great. Another pro is we had a washing machine and dryer in our home. So, you know, on Sunday, if you need, like, if you ain't got like no more panties because you did not wash, like you can throw a quick load in, quick wash, and dry them, and by the time you wake up for school, you're good. So that was another pro. And that was the second pro. And the third pro was that I didn't have to cook dinner. Like my mom either cooked dinner, she made sure we were fed, and that's all I can ask for. Okay, if I don't have to do nothing, I'm good. We can go pick something up, you can do this. As long as they involving me, I'm good. So that was my first introduction to housing, and I really, well, at the time I didn't enjoy staying with my mom, and I was very happy to leave. But then, you know, I moved on to college, and I realized that maybe I had it a little bit better. So in college, I stayed in my freshman year, the freshman dorms. And if anybody know anything about PVMU, I went there. PV, you know, whoop, whoop, alumni. If anybody know anything about the UC, and this is the old UC, not the new UC, because these freshmen got like new housing with laundry there. It wasn't, no. I digress. So it was dorm style apartments, and how the dorm was situated was, so you came into the room, and on one side it was like a wall where you had a bed, and then the other side was a closet. You kept walking, and in the middle was a shared bathroom. And if you kept walking back, which was called the B side, they had a it had like a corner where the window and their bed was. They had like a dresser, a closet on the same side that I had. So it was a little bit more privacy over there because it was like in the cut, and my side was just when you open up the door, you had to walk through. So it was that. And I mean, my roommate was great, Autumn. Hey girl, hey. She was actually a really good roommate, but I mean, there was, let's see the pros. The pros were that in the UC, you were with a bunch of freshmen. So like, we all knew each other. We were outside before there was visitation. We were always all outside, chopping it up at the basketball courts, figuring out what to do. Like, it was nothing, like, and it was a sense of camaraderie. Or we hanging out in like the rooms, and we had buildings. It was great. The second pro is that, again, you were close to your friends. So I lived in a building 35, and my homegirl lived in 42. So all I did was like walk a few blocks down, and I would go meet her at her dorm, or we would hang out over there, and it was real accessible. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed my friends being really close, and I also enjoyed the camaraderie because all of us were underclassmen, so we had hopefully some of the same experiences. So the last pro was that you actually had RAs, even though they weren't always the best, that were trying to look out for you and trying to keep your 150, because all they would say is, oh, you gonna do that 150. So, you know, they made it very clear what to do and not to do. So that was good. So let's go to the cons. One con is that visitation. Visitation in the dorms is by like 12 or 1 o'clock, your guests have to be gone. So it's no staying overnight. You can stay into the night, but you can't stay overnight. So that wasn't, you know, it could be better. So that was a con. Another con is that, again, with the dorm room, I was on side A, and in order for my roommate to even get to her side, she would have to walk through my side. So had I been doing anything, had I been butt naked, had I been with my boyfriend, you know, she'd have to walk through. So that was like not a pro and definitely a con. And then the last con was that I did like the camaraderie, but it might have been a lot of, you know, he say, she say, people talking about stuff. I didn't get myself involved with that because, you know, I had parties to go to, people to see, studying. Like, I wasn't involved in it, but it could happen. So that's a con. So that was the second place I lived, which was in my dorms. So I lived there. I lived in the UC for my freshman year. Then after freshman year, you can go to this thing called the phases, and the phases is it's like the same thing. It's kind of like the UC, but it's like a more sense of privacy and less camaraderie. So next was the phases. So this is a different set of dorms. So pros about the phases was close to the MSC, and the MSC was close to food. So when you want to go eat, you don't want to go eat by yourself, you round up your homegirls, say, hey, let's go eat at 5 o'clock, stop by where they at, and y'all all walk in there. And it's only like a few blocks. It's not far at all. So we like food, and we like that the MSC was close. Number 2, I really liked that we had our own private bathroom and our own private room with the key lock door. I really appreciated that. And I lived in phase 2. So I don't remember phase 1 was different, but phase 2 where I lived in, we had our own personal bathrooms and our own personal, you know, rooms with the doors. And 3 with the phases in phase 2, you could have overnight guests. Nobody was checking in and giving their ID card and trying to see who was doing this and that, and less people were in your business. So I appreciated that. Some cons about the phases are they're not always kept up as nicely as the UC was. So like I would get bugs and stuff. I was on the bottom floor, so there would be bugs sometimes, and then yeah, they weren't that. I didn't really like the bugs. And then as far as a washing machine and dryer, I don't believe they had a washing machine and dryer either. So we had to, and that was a con for the UC too, because we had to chug all our laundry, and it'd be hot, okay? If you missed the shuttle, you'd have to chug all your laundry 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks down the road and around the corner, do your laundry, and then come back if you ain't do it when, you know, the shuttle was there. And it was long, and it was hot in Texas, and a mess. So same thing with phases. I don't believe they had any type of laundry, and if they did, I ain't used it. So that was that. So after I completed my time at Prairie View A&M University,